Well, this is fast becoming the Donald Trump show, but the new US president does continue to make headlines with a fresh set of executive orders that will affect millions of people, both in the United States and abroad. This time, it's national security and immigration, as Arabella Munro reports.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
He promised to do it just days after a terror attack in San Bernardino, California. And now he's expected to sign an executive order temporarily stopping visas being issued to 7 Muslim-majority countries: Syria, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Iraq. The US State Department says there are still 13,000 Iraqi translators and other people who worked for US interests during the Second Gulf War who are still waiting for the special immigrant visas they were promised. Now, no one's getting one. Trump's also expected to halve the refugee cap to just 50,000 people. And closer to home, he's dealing with Mexico, making good on his signature campaign promise of a wall along the 3,200-kilometer border.
We will begin working on an impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
But is that a feasible goal? Under the Secure Fence Act passed in 2006, he may have the legal means to turn this existing fence into something more concrete. That law states the Secretary of Homeland Security shall provide for at least 2 layers of reinforced fencing and the installation of additional physical barriers. The 2 major obstacles: money and litigation. While there may be many lawsuits to slow down the process, with opposition on both sides of the border, Trump has been behind plenty of controversial construction projects in his career. The Government Accountability Office estimates the wall will cost $14 billion. Trump could need congressional approval, or he could divert the money from the Department of Homeland Security. He says he'll make Mexico repay through tariffs, but Mexico is not on board.
We will work for a border that unites us, not divides us. While Mexico recognizes the rights of every nation, of every sovereign nation, to guarantee its security, Mexico does not believe in walls.
That's going to make for an awkward meeting when the 2 presidents go head-to-head in Washington next week. Arabella Munro, TRT World.
And TRT World's editor-at-large, Craig Kapitas, joins us from Paris now. Craig, I just want to touch on that visas issue, which he's expected to sign later this week. You've read The Art of the Deal, his so-called seminal book on business. Is he basically taking an extreme position right from the outset in order to extract the best concessions from the Middle East?
His supporters believe he is, but what he's doing has nothing to do with what's in The Art of the Deal. It has everything to do with the art of belligerence. Arabella's report correctly pointed out these 13,000 Iraqi translators and other Islamic locals in Iraq who worked for the U.S. government interests and who are now, for years, have not gotten these promised immigrant visas. Now, you know what that deal was? The art of that deal was, you help America, and then we'll get you out of Dodge and to America because we know your lives are in danger. That deal, which cost lives, it looks to now be off the table, and that's a shameful, shameful footnote in American history right now.
Craig, he's also been talking about getting his hands on Iraq's oil. I want to play you a quick soundbite. Here it is.
ISIS, because that's where they made their money in the first place, so we should have kept the oil, but okay. Maybe you'll have another chance.
Craig, you covered both Gulf wars, and you know it's not easy getting your hands on Iraq's oil, is it?
Oh, well, I know that firsthand. During Gulf II, I was embedded with the combat engineering team assigned to securing those oil fields and to get the oil pumping to the United States within 72 hours of the invasion. In fact, the Bush administration at the time said that that oil was going to pay for the cost of the war. But it never did because they couldn't get the oil because of the chaos in country. Now, this goes further in that the Gulf War failed to bring the United States together. There was nothing memorialized, but there was this promise to come home with the oil, and that money would be used to pay for the war and to care for the soldiers and refurbish the U.S. economy. It didn't happen. Now, Trump revisiting that question speaks volumes, Matthew. It's another illustration of how he sees democratic institutions as irrelevant. Doing that goes against every UN regulation that we can find.
Craig, just one last question, just briefly on Wall Street. Been an interesting day trading there. The Dow Jones has risen past 20,000 points for the first time. Is this still the Trump effect?
Absolutely. America loves money. They're not paying attention to this. You know, the Dow rise will likely continue. The New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ are also going up, so it's not just the frumpy stocks on the Dow. What's going on here? What's going on here is that Americans believe that the tax cuts and getting rid of all the regulations is going to spur growth. And what Trump has done, once these laws are passed, he's making them retroactive to January 1 of this year.
Okay.
And
Craig
people like that.
Craig Capitas in Paris, thank you for your analysis.